Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second in a series of 3 webinars on the Interstate Passport Mapping Pilot. I am Kate Springsteen, Project Coordinator of Member and Education Services for the Interstate Passport. This webinar, along with all of our webinars in this series, is being recorded and will be made available at www.wichi.edu/passport/webinars by tomorrow, September 7th. If you have questions throughout the webinar, please type your question into the question box on the GoToWebinar panel, and it will be brought to the presenter's attention. Following this webinar, I will be sending out an email with information on where to find the recording of this webinar, as well as a link to a survey, which we would very much appreciate if you would fill out. This series is designed to tell you about the Interstate Passport Mapping Pilot. The first webinar was an overview of the pilot, and today's session will focus more specifically on uploading and scoring assignments. I'm delighted to introduce you to Jeff Reed, Vice President of Product Management at Taskstream, and Janine Fusco, Senior Product Owner of Taskstream, who will be presenting today's webinar. Welcome, Jeff and Janine.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Kate. This is Janine speaking. I'm going to be primarily walking you through the uploading and scoring of assignments in our product, and Jeff is here for backup and any questions that come up. So we'll get started. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to have a very brief overview of Aqua by Taskstream and just tell you what that is. We'll walk you through creating your password and accessing Aqua, then entering the assignment information, and then the scoring of those assignments as well. So a little bit about Taskstream. We were founded in 2000. We have over 500 client institutions with proven, reliable technology. We have an amazing mentoring services, experienced, caring team. And we are dedicated to client success. So WICHI had selected Taskstream as the technology partner to support the Interstate Passport Mapping Project some time ago, and we've been working very closely with them to build up an experience for this project. And that's where we have Aqua. So Aqua is a product that Taskstream brought to the market about in a little less than a year ago. It is a product that we designed to simplify the process of scaling learning outcomes assessment using rubrics, and that's what we're going to be using for this project. So Aqua is really about a simple path for direct assessment of learning outcomes. It has a very simple setup. You look at defining your project, which is which outcomes we're going to measure, where we're going to collect the work from, and who's going to score. We have a very streamlined scoring experience, which I'll be taking you through today. And then the other key thing is data and getting that information as fast as we can. So we have worked with WICHI to set up Aqua to best meet the goals of this particular pilot. And with that in mind, this is something to keep in mind. I think as we go through Aqua, you will notice that we have language and terminology in the product that is tailored to suit a broad range of customers. And this is why we have provided this Aqua terminology mapped to the WICHI terminology. I'm sure that once you go through the assignment creation and the scoring, the terminology will be very clear. But just so that you can identify the discrepancies. So where we talk about outcomes and learning outcomes measured in Aqua, the WICHI terminology is the knowledge or skill areas that are being measured. Where we talk about like rubric and criteria in Aqua, for the project we would be talking about features. And I can highlight that as we go through the screens as well. For this particular project that we're looking at today, which is the upload of the assignments and then the scoring of those assignments, where we talk in Aqua about scoring student work, in this case, obviously, we're using the product in a slightly different way, and we would be scoring the assignments themselves. All right, so moving on, accessing Aqua. So what will happen is Wiki or your passport mapping specialist would be providing Taskstream with names, email address, school, and assigned area for faculty, or in the case of the passport mapping specialist doing the assignment upload, we'd have their details. We would then create the accounts within our system, and you will receive an email that looks like the screen you're seeing up here. The email will include a link for you to be able to set your own password. So the username will be your email address, as you can see in the screen here, and then you click on the link to set your password. So this is what will happen when you click that link. You'll be taken in your browser, in your internet browser, to a screen where you can go in there and you can enter your password, you confirm the password. Once you click Change Password, it's going to reset that password and it will direct you to the login screen, which is here. At any time after that point, once you've set your password, this is the screen that you will go to access Aqua. The URL on the screen is aqua.taskstream.com. What you do here is you enter in your email address as your username and then the password that you set. If at any point you forget the password, all you click is the link for Forgot Your Password, and that's going to open up a modal which allows you to enter your email address again, and then it's just going to send you another one of those emails with a link to reset your password. So it's pretty standard password management functionality. Once you have entered in your username and your password and you hit login, you're going to go right into Aqua. So what we're looking at right now is Aqua is a project, has a project orientation. So when you first log in, you will be seeing the project that is specific to collecting or uploading your assignments. As you can see on here, the project is called Assignment Upload. You can see date that it was published, and it's also going to show you the four, as we say on Aqua, the 4 outcomes measured, which is highlighting the 4 knowledge or skills areas that are being measured for the project. So what you do then is you click on the heading, the blue bar along the top, and this will actually take you inside the project where you can begin or continue the work of uploading the assignment information. So one other thing to let you know is that the view and the data that you see on the screen, so when you're looking at assignments in project and you see maybe 1 draft, 1 published, the information that you see in here and that you see within the project itself is going to always be filtered by the user's role and their organization affiliation. So if I'm representing an institution for all of the skill areas, I'm going to log in and I'm going to see assignments or create assignments only for that institution. All right, so now we're actually going to go into creating those assignments or entering the assignment information itself. All right, so once you come into the project, as I had said before, you would go to Manage Evidence on your left-hand navigation, and this is where you would go in to start uploading your assignment information. So each faculty member within an institution logging in, or the passport mapping specialist acting on behalf of faculty within an institution, will have the ability to enter assignment information for his or her area. Again, as I had said before, you will only see assignments for your own institution, and in the case of faculty who will be mapped to a specific area within their institution, they would only see and upload assignments specifically for their area. So again, this is blank slate. Nothing has been created yet. So we're going to go in and we're going to click the button on the top right called Create Assignment. And this is basically the assignment form. So it's a very simple form for entering the assignment details. We'll go into each area specifically. So the top of that form, you enter the title of the assignment. This is, some distinguishing title that you have for the assignment. And then the next piece, and this is the key really of what we're doing here, is the instructions for students, the assignment prompt. So what you can do here is you can either enter the information into that text area, or if you have it as an attachment, you can just down here below where you see attachments, you can drag and drop the file that you have, or you could browse your computer and upload the file that way. And you'll see once it has uploaded, just below, you can see the name of the file and the file extension. You have the ability with the blue X to delete that if you made a mistake and you need to upload a different file. You can also download with that down arrow if you want to download the file just to make sure that it is the right file that you've uploaded. And if you double-click into the assignment, into the attachment name, you can rename from within the screen as well. And also note that there's no limitation on the amount of attachments that you can add to this. All right, so moving on, the next piece is actually defining the learning outcomes, or again, keeping in witchy terminology, selecting the knowledge or skill area. So down here further on the screen, you will see there's over on the left-hand side where I have it outlined in purple, there's a button, a blue button for Add Learning Outcome. When you click that button, it's going to open up the modal, which we see on the right, where you go in and you can select the learning outcomes or select the knowledge or skill area, so that it's specifically the knowledge or skill area that is going to be measured by this assignment. So once you've selected your area and you hit apply, you now get an overview of the area. Highlighted here is the learning outcome, the evaluation method, which is obviously going to be the rubric. You can click a link to view the rubric, the View Rubric link over on the right-hand side. And the other key thing to note with this is that where we're talking about 6 selected criteria, this in witchy terminology is, this is highlighting the 6 features. So what you can do on this is you can actually click on the link for the 6 selected criteria, which is the 6 selected features. And that's going to open up a new window where you can identify which of the features best apply to this assignment. And the detailed scoring statements can also be viewed on the View Rubric area. So if we go over to the next screen, so once I've clicked that text link for the 6 selected criteria, I'm going to get this pop-up, which is going to outline those features, and I literally can just toggle the green button for on-off to select which ones apply to this assignment. So once I have selected which ones should or should not apply, and I click the blue button for Use Selected Criteria, again, you can see now it's changed to 4, and it will show me the 4 features that are applicable to this assignment. The next piece is the final piece really is the selecting the appropriate courses where the assignment originated. So in this case, the course is a one-to-one mapping to the appropriate area. So within my own university, I would map it as the passport specialist to critical thinking, natural sciences, quantitative literacy, or written communication. If I was a faculty member who was already mapped to just one of those areas within my institution, I would not actually need to make the selection because it's going to pre-select my area for me. So Aqua will then use this information to ensure that each assignment actually gets scored by the correct participants as well. So this is just a sort of a review of the information that you would have put in. So again, just to reconfirm, I will have selected my area, in this case critical thinking. I will have selected the features within that area. In this case, I have 4 selected features, and then the course that this assignment originated from, which in this case is critical thinking within my institution. Once I've created one or more assignments and I go back to the assignment list, I do get an overview of the assignments that I have by each area. So in this case, I'm looking at a capstone final presentation that is mapped to the critical thinking area. You can see that this one is a draft assignment, so it's actually not going to be available for anyone else to see yet. But while it is in draft, I can still edit the assignment with the actions bar on the right-hand side. I could delete the assignment if I wanted to. And then the difference there with the self-reflection assignment, which I have mapped to the written communications area, that one you can see is no longer in draft, it's published. I can still go in on the actions bar and I can still make edits, and I can still delete at this point as well. So this is just a good overview of all of the assignments that will have been created within your institution. Mostly relevant for the passport mapping specialists who might want to see all of the assignments within each of the areas within the institution. Okay, so now we get on to the assignment scoring piece. All right, so again, now I'm actually logged in as an evaluator. It's a slightly different screen because I also, on my dashboard, I now get to see my evaluations. I can see the number I've completed and the number in progress. So each user who is a scorer will log in and they will see 2 projects. One of the projects will have the assignments from my own institution, where I will go in and I will be scoring the assignments from my institution. And the other project is where you would go in and you would be scoring the assignments for other institutions. So that's what you're seeing at the moment on the screen is the two different projects. So once I click into one or the other of the projects, so remember you click into the name, the blue bar at the top, to get into the project itself, and now I'm actually in the scoring screen. And you can see that the scoring screen, it's anonymized, so if you were in the other institutions or even your own, you're not actually necessarily going to see, well, you definitely wouldn't see which institutions they're coming from, and it's completely anonymized. So the scoring experience also presents the scorer with a very simple list of work that needs to be scored. Each of these items that you're seeing on the screen represents an assignment. It is randomized and it is completely anonymous, but it is filtered based on what the users should see. So if I was a scorer set up to only see the critical thinking area, I would only see assignments that had been mapped to critical thinking to score here. So I don't have to do any other work or thinking. I just go straight in and know that I'm seeing exactly what I need. And again, just to reiterate, one of the queues or from one of the projects would have assignments from my own institution, and the other project would have assignments from the other 5 institutions. And again, this was going back to the language thing. You can see at the top of the screen it says score student work, but in the case of this project, we're obviously scoring the assignment itself and not the student work. All right, so now I've actually clicked into, actually let me just go back, because you can see on the right-hand side against each item is a blue button that says score. Once I click that button, I'm actually going to go right into the scoring experience. So a few things to note here is the Aqua scoring experience is intended to provide rubric scoring of student work artifacts, but for the case that we're looking at right now, we are looking at the assignment scoring in the full. So what we're going to present on the screen is the content of the assignment instructions themselves and any other information that was uploaded from that previous screen we just had a look at. So what I'm looking at right now is most of the real estate in our scoring experience is given to the work artifact. So up along the top, I have on the top left, I have the down arrow, so I could download this if I needed to read offline. On the top right, you have the zoom in, zoom out, and full screen mode as well, if you needed more real estate. Down along the bottom, I have the rubrics, which we'll go into a little bit more detail. So onto the next screen, if I open up the left-hand panel by clicking on that icon that has the 1, even though this says student artifacts, this is the assignment prompt that I'm going to be looking at in the case of this project. So if there were multiple student assignment attachments, you would be able to see the number wouldn't be 1, it would correspond to the number of attachments there are, and you can open up this panel to then toggle between those attachments. What you can see along the bottom as well, that is where you actually have the rubric and the scoring. You are on the blue arrow over on the bottom right-hand side. You can use that arrow to expand and collapse the rubric and the criteria or the features, the statements. And you can score directly on this bar as well. And once you have scored on one of them, you can hit the arrow over on the right or the left to go to, you can see this is now 2 of 3, to go into the next feature for scoring. One other thing to note on this is the project is allowing the NA not applicable in the scoring as well. So that's another one of the choices that is in there, and then that would actually remove any scores from the performance. As you can see now, it's kind of difficult to distinguish, but on the previous screen we were looking at the assignment rating rubric, and now on the next screen, if you click on the next tab, that's when you are able to view and score for the next rubric, and this is the rubric that's particular to the skill or knowledge area. Up on the top right, we have an actions button, which allows you to report as unscorable. If you report as unscorable, this is used for being able to report assignments where maybe the attachment didn't render properly, or it's a language that you don't speak, or there's content in there that you can't score for some reason. If you do use the report as unscorable, it is going to give you a pop-up window that forces you to explain why this is unscorable. If you discard evaluation, this is going to remove any scores that you'd already given, and it's going to basically throw this assignment back into the queue for another scorer to pick it up. If you hit the back button on any submission that you had, any assignment that you'd already opened up for scoring, instead of discarding the evaluation, if you just hit the back button before you submit any scores, this is how the screen is going to look. So you're going to see that you have one of these is sort of pinned to the top of your queue. This is going to stay yours now until you're ready to submit your scores. So anytime you log out and you log back in, any assignments that you have already started will be pinned to the top of your queue, which means that no one else would be able to score this while you have it in progress. So you can go straight back into resume, and you'll go straight back into the scoring experience. And from the scoring experience, you have a review and submit button, which would take you to this screen that you're looking at now. This is a great screen because as you've been going through the scoring and the review of the assignment on those previous screens where you had the rubric along the bottom, before you actually submit your scores, you come to this screen, which gives you an overview of all the rubrics and all of your scores. you get this really neat summary view where you can see all of your scores for each of the criteria or the features. And you can also click on the detailed view to have an expanded view, which gives you all of the descriptors as well. If you were to try and submit and some of the criteria or features were missing a score, it's going to alert you to that fact, and it's going to tell you that you have to go back and a score is required. So it makes sure that, that all of the criteria have a score. And then once you submit, it's going to take you right back to your queue, and it's going to show you that you've successfully completed the evaluation. And you can see on the blue bar at the top, it's going to give you a count of all of the assignments that you have scored as well and completed. And this will stick so that every time the number count, so every time you log back in and you score more of the assignments, that count will continue to increase as you increase your assignment scoring. So that's basically it for the assignment upload and for the scoring experience. We think it's pretty simple. We hope we've done a good job of making it as easy as possible for you to get through this. We will be providing documentation with screen-by-screen steps. And again, going back to what I had said at the very beginning, we have an amazing mentoring services team here at Taskstream who are available to help with any account issues, any user experience questions or concerns, and they can walk you through that. You can get a hold of mentoring services by email with help@taskstream.com or by calling them at the number that's on the screen. And if at any point you needed this information, you can also go to our website, which is taskstream.com, and we have information for contacting mentoring services there too. So we have a fire alarm going on here, testing. But that is, that's it for the assignment upload and the assignment scoring. And if you have any questions, please fire away. Otherwise, I know that Kate will be sharing the presentation and the webinar on the website. And like I said, we'll be following up with documentation, step-by-step guides for uploaders and scorers by the end of this week. Thank you.
Thanks, Janine. That was a great presentation. I think we'll wait a minute to see if there are any questions that pop up. If you do have questions, type them into the questions box on the GoToWebinar panel, and I will bring them to Jeff and Janine's attention. All right, so I didn't receive any questions, but if you do have some questions later, feel free to write them in an email, and we will follow up with you on them. Thank you to everybody who joined in on today's call, and I will be sending out an email with information on where you can view a recording of this webinar. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.